I can't believe I'm really about to say these words, but Gojo is back. He is really here, and the one who took his body is Yuta. It's not Kenjaku, it's not even Gojo himself, but Yuta copied Kenjaku's curse technique and took over his body, and with this he has begun to fight Sukuna as they clash with the domain expansions. This was something, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like I just read a fan fiction. It's that wild, it's that crazy, but yes, it's real. Yuta has taken over Gojo's body, and right now he is fighting the king of curses. Gojo is physically back here right now fighting Sukuna. It's unbelievably crazy, and I'm completely speechless. Let's just get right into this. Be sure to leave a like, it helps out a lot, thank you. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content just like this. I promise you, you won't regret it. And of course, thank you to the special grade members of the channel. Let's just jump right into this. So Gojo has the stitch marks. Gojo is physically there, so it wasn't a ghost, it wasn't a hallucination. The physical body was there. And the craziest part of it all is it's not Kenjaku, so the stitch marks ended up being true. It's hilarious because, like I talked about in yesterday's stream, I was gonna make a whole video saying it could be possible that it's Kenjaku. The thumbnail and such would have been accurate since Gojo was back with stitch marks on his forehead, but the details would have been wrong. The truth is it's Yuta who took over his body because Yuta has copied Kenjaku's curse technique, and this has so many implications. I mean, both for Yuta's character, for Gojo's character, and also for the story moving forward, because this does have a big drawback which we will talk about. So it's not like he's fully got Gojo's body back now. There may be a limit to this, and I think the reasoning as such is absolutely wild. So in this chapter we see Gojo is right there, and even Sukuna's in disbelief, but Sukuna realizes who it is and he punches Yuji away as he begins to scream, saying, "I apologize for underestimating you. I didn't know you were capable of going that far." Yuta Okotsu, as we see Gojo full stitch marks. Oh my god, I still can't believe this is real. It's just insane that we're actually seeing Gojo with the stitch marks, but it's Yuta. And of course there's a whole bunch of dialogue with the main cast discussing this. I'll have it on the screen, such as them outright saying that Yuta can't get the 6 eyes because it's a physical aspect, and they also talk about the 3 possibilities on what would happen if Yuta took over Gojo's body, and this is very important, guys. So the first one is, if Kenjaku's curse technique is of the constant or intermittent operation type, the physical body or the soul can't be maintained and he'll die. If the curse technique operates intermittently, he won't immediately die, but he'll eventually die. If the curse technique is a single use or one-time technique, he can use limitless even past 5 minutes. And Meme said it's possible that after the body swap is complete, it's very possible that Yuta's curse technique is discarded and he'll live in Gojo's body forever. So hear that, guys. It could be possible that either A, Yuta's only back for 5 minutes, and after that the body will be pretty much done and Yuta's technique will be finished because Yuta only has copy for 5 minutes, so Yuta will die alongside Gojo once again after these 5 minutes are up. I feel like this could be a fair nerf. He's only back for 5 minutes. He can do as much damage as he can for those 5 minutes, but of course at that point Gojo, at least his body will have to go away and Yuta will die by that as well, which is wild to even say, but I guess that could be a possibility. But of course there's the second option too. Yuta could be in Gojo's body forever, and now he's just got Gojo's body. This part, I have no idea how to feel about this, that Yuta would now be in Gojo's corpse for the rest of his life. It's so insanely dark and just such a wild fate for both Gojo and for Yuta that this ended up being the case. And we also see later on in the chapter that Gojo says, yeah, if I die, do whatever you want with my body. It's the same logic as what Sukuna told Yorozu, the exact same logic. So I guess that must be the mentality of the strongest, where they don't care what happens to their body, because if they lose, then they're just nothing. They ended up not being strong enough. And there is this whole amazing character moment between everybody and Yuta, where Kusakabe says it's not humane, but Yuta gives a very good response, where Yuta says, what do you mean humane? We're talking about fighting the strongest sorcerer in history. If we can win by just throwing away our humanity, we shouldn't even be arguing about this. And this is something, it's very funny, I was arguing about in my Binding Vow video, saying, you guys are up against the strongest sorcerer in history. You aren't going to be winning by playing it safe, by playing it fair, by not making sacrifices. If you're not willing to sacrifice things and make these major binding vows or changes, you will not beat Sukuna. You just aren't prepared, or you're not willing to give it your all to beat the strongest in history. And it's really cool because Yuta mimicked my own words, word for word. That's what he said in this chapter. Of course, he's referring to inhumane acts rather than binding vows, but the point is still very clear. If you want to beat Sukuna, you're going to need to go all out. You are going to have to discard it all to go above and beyond. As Sukuna was even saying, he underestimated Yuta. He didn't think he'd be capable of this. And right here, Yuta goes off on everybody, where Yuta asks everyone if they're all afraid of becoming some type of monster to beat Sukuna. Maki rebukes Yuta, saying everyone's just concerned about him, and that's the most interesting part, you can see that Maki is the most concerned out of everybody here for Yuta himself. She clearly is being affected by this, and it is shaking her up, and it's pretty sweet to see this, I can't lie, and also a bit bittersweet knowing Yuta now has very likely just lost his body forever. And Yuta right here just screams at everybody as he erupts in anger, which is so odd from Yuta, and it's so unusual, but it shows just how much this means to him, because he truly does care about Gojo. Yuta screams, what about Gojo Sensei? Is he not important? Haven't we been pushing all the burden of becoming a monster onto Gojo Sensei alone? If Gojo Sensei is gone, then who else will become a monster? If no one intends to become one, then I will become one. I will become a monster. Yuta Kotsu, you are moving me. You are truly moving me right here. I know a lot of people are going to be upset with Yuta being the one who took over Gojo's body, but the explanation I got here, the emotion, the raw impact, the flashback and all of it, it's truly moving me. And maybe it's just because I'm a fan of Yuta, but I feel like I was actually moved this chapter, and this is just how I feel now. I do feel like I'll need some more time to sit on this to see how I really think, but as of now, the emotions that Yuta's pouring out, the sheer shock factor of it all, yeah, I am beyond hype just as of right now, you know, because tonight I only slept 3 hours and I woke up not being disappointed because I expected something absolutely chaotic and wild, and that is what we got. So as of just now, the sheer shock factor, yeah, this is just crazy beyond crazy. So let's just continue. Like I talked about before, Yuta's talking to Gojo about taking over the body, and Gojo says he's fine with it, he has no intention of losing, and he doesn't care what happens to his body if he's dead. And they even talk about Yuta being a descendant of Fujiwara and Sugawara blood. And by the way, in case you aren't aware of this, in a volume extra it was actually revealed that Udo simply calls people that she hates or that annoy her Fujiwara. She says this to everyone, so it's already been confirmed a long time ago that Yuta very likely has no Fujiwara blood. I mean, unless he actually does have Fujiwara blood by sheer coincidence, but the reason Udo specifically said that was not because she knew that Yuta had Fujiwara blood, but simply because that's just almost like a slur that she uses to shout at people that she hates. So keep that in mind. It's so funny and it's so hilarious how it's caused this mix-up between Gojo and Yuta. And we also have it revealed that yes, when Yuta and Inumaki were walking down those hallways and we saw the higher-ups being dead, the higher-ups were just killed in that moment. I have no idea why people were arguing that this was something that was done before. Clearly it was meant to show that that was something that just happened, so yes, they were the ones who killed the higher-up, but the specific details are that it was Gojo who did it alone, and they were just outside of the room when it happened. So I guess when we saw Yuta talking to Inumaki and they were walking alone, that was probably the aftermath of Gojo killing them, the aftermath of what we saw in this chapter. We also see that Yuta's in extremely critical condition, and of course, we have Yuta back at the end using Unlimited Void as he clashes with Sukuna's shrine in an insane double page spread, and it's crazy. We are seeing Gojo with the stitch marks across his forehead, we are seeing the domain clash. I can't believe this is real, but we are getting Gojo vs Sukuna once again right here in flesh and blood, but now with Yuta taking over his body. This is just, I cannot lie, absolutely crazy and wild. And please let me know your thoughts about this in the comments, if you hate it, if you love it, if you're just enjoying the sheer craziness and shock factor of it all. Let me know in the comments down below. If you did enjoy the video, be sure to leave a like, it helps out a ton, thank you. And of course, if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe for a ton of consistent and quality JJK content just like this. Less than 10% of people who watch my videos are subscribed, so if you love JJK, I promise you, you won't regret subscribing. And of course, thank you to all the channel members as well. It is much appreciated, guys. That's all from me. Have a great day and take care.